This is pumped up. Down to the field we go. Here's Pam Oliver with Charles Woodson.
Well, Charles, teams are always worried where you're going to line up. What will be your assignment here tonight?
My assignment is just what it's been all season. That's just to move around, play hard-nosed football, and go out there and get a win.
Defensively, where do you feel like the Packers have the edge?
I think just our overall team speed. We got a lot of athletic guys out there. We move around well, and we play fast.
Appreciate it. Now for more on the Falcons, let's go over to Chris Myers.
Well, Pam, the Falcons see themselves as control freaks. They want to run the ball with Michael Turner, control the clock. Matt Ryan, the no-huddle offense, control the tempo. And the Packer defensive substitutions, the schedule. Their head coach, Mike Smith, back in training camp, handed out a calendar to each of his players, day by day, practice by practice, all the way through the playoffs, and yes, including the Super Bowl. The one thing, Joe and Troy, they can't control the crowd, and they hope it's out of control loud throughout the game. Let's go back upstairs.
Well, so far, I'd say it is. I mean, this place, they talk about Project 115, trying to get the decibel level up to 115, which is around the threshold of pain. I don't know if we're going to get to that, or if that is even the threshold of pain, but I'll tell you, it is tough to hear yourself think. But we're good at just saying stuff without hearing ourselves think. Eric Weems is waiting deep, and the Falcons will start with a football. He's a Pro Bowler, returning kicks. Any blocking in front of him, he gets across the 20 and not much more after the 22. Charlie Pepra, who last year ended the season with Atlanta, made the stop. And here is Matt Ryan, who has 33 wins since taking over as a rookie in 2008. You see the backs and receivers, 5 Pro Bowlers in that group, and then an offensive line that the individuals don't blow you away with their stuff, but as a group, they're very good, and they've made every start all year.
And they're opening this game up with Will Svitek, the 6th offensive line. When he comes in, typically, it means they're going to pound you with the running game.
He wears number 74. They have Michael Turner, their big back. They start with a throw, and that one came out funny. Roddy White, the intended receiver. Pepra with coverage. And that ball out of... That's about as bad a throw as Matt Ryan's going to make.
Yeah, I'm not sure that they were even on the same page. It looked like the receivers there might have even thought it was going to be a running play.
And now they're going to throw a flag. You look at the defense. We'll get the call from John Perry. A real late flag that was just thrown. And you can
there is no foul for illegal formation. Second down. The pass was uncatchable. Therefore, no DPI.
So a couple things. No foul for illegal formation, and then saying the pass was uncatchable. No flag for defensive pass interference.
Well, you saw Roddy White come off the ball, and he certainly was not anticipating the ball to be thrown in his direction, and just made a tackle there.
Here's Turner. And Michael Turner is the horse of this offense. A.J. Hawk on the tackle, a gain of 4. Turner had more carries than any running back across the NFL. He had 1,300 plus yards, 3rd best total. Not much of a threat catching it out of the backfield. Jason Snelling is. And Snelling is in the backfield with Matt Ryan on 3rd and 6. Ryan flushed out to his right, wide open. Roddy White, first down, Atlanta.
Well, initially, Matt Ryan is wanting to get the ball down the field. He had a corner route to his front side, but the Packers covered up pretty well, and Matt Ryan's able to buy himself a little bit of time and then get the ball into the hands of Roddy White, something that he did an excellent job of all season long.
28 touchdown passes, only 9 interceptions for Matt Ryan. Who hands to Turner, running left. A gain of 5. This was the number 12 rushing offense in the NFL this season.
You're going to see this off tackle running play. The Falcons come out in 2 tight end package here. They had a lot of success running the football in the first meeting between these two teams. This is a concern right now for Dom Capers coming into the game, because in all of the other personnel packages for the Falcons, they did a good job against the running game. They did not hold up well against the 2 tight end blocking schemes against Michael Turner. And then the first time they come with it here tonight, they pick up 5 yards.
They had that extra tackle in there again, Will Svitek. 2nd and 5. Ryan just throws it away. Roddy White closest to it. 3rd down coming up. This is a defense that is coordinated by Dom Capers. And Dom Capers, it's his job for Green Bay to not let Atlanta control the tempo of this game, because they will just bleed you down, put together long drives. They're not a dynamic offense, not a big play offense, but they eat up a lot of clock, and Capers is trying to come after Ryan.
Yeah, and one of the reasons why they eat up so much clock is because they're very good on this down. 3rd down. This is the down that the Packers have to be able to get off the field so they can give the ball back to their offense.
Blitz coming. Ryan completes. Roddy White. Ryan got hit, but got it away. 12 yards to White. Another Falcon 1st down.
Well, Dom Capers decides to blitz Desmond Bishop, and by doing that, you then open up that crossing lane right there for the 1st down to Roddy White. As the quarterback, you know you're going to get hit. That could have been hand to the helmet right there, and should have been. Not a vicious hit, but one that's typically called. But Desmond Bishop blitzes. It opens up that zone area, and that's where Roddy White got it.
Here is Turner. Pepra on the stop. He wasn't alone. Big Howard Green is in there. Howard Green wears number 95. He was picked up at the end of October, and he wasn't even active in the Philadelphia game because they were taking on Michael Vick and a more mobile quarterback. Now you've got the running game of Michael Turner. Green is a starter in this game.
Yeah, you know, they're playing the Falcons. Nobody runs it more than the Falcons do, and so Howard Green, he got dialed up for duty here in this one. 340-pounder.
2nd and 8. Turner. Colin Jenkins made the play. A loss of 2. 3rd and 10 coming up, and it'll be interesting now, Troy, to see on 3rd and 10 exactly what Dom Capers wants to do. He was burned with the blitz the last time the Falcons had 3rd down.
Yeah, no, they've been doing a nice job of extending this possession. But generally speaking, Dom Capers, I mean, he's been known for a long, long time as to this being the down when he brings it.
Just a 4-man rush. Matt Ryan throws, gets it to Snelling, but Snelling is wrapped up well short of a 1st down by Charles Woodson, number 21. If you're just watching the Packers for the first time, you will see and hear a lot of number 21 all night long. One of the good cover corners, Troy, but I mean, because Sam Shields, a rookie, has played so well on the edge, Woodson is as much a blitzing defensive back as anybody in the league.
Pretty remarkable that here in his 13th year, he's still doing a lot of the dirty work, tackling, coming off the edge on the blitzes. Had 5 forced fumbles this year, most in his career.
Kane into punt. Goes the football down, and it hangs high for Tramon Williams. Fair catch at the 11. And now we'll get our first look at Aaron Rodgers and this very potent Green Bay offense in Atlanta. No score.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
Starting at the 11, James Starks goes backward. Talk about a swarming defense, a loss of 3. And the rookie James Starks, who had 101 yards during the regular season and busted loose for 123 at Philly last week, ran into the arms of Corey Peters.
Well, what a rookie season he has had. He's been excellent in terms of playing run support, and starts off this game, his first playoff game, and gets pressure in the backfield and gets a nice play for a loss.
This one is thrown right at the knees of Brandon Jackson as there was heavy pressure on Rodgers.
Yeah, and this is really how they started the game against the New Orleans Saints just a couple of weeks ago. They started bringing pressure. You see Christopher Owens off the slot. The last time these two teams met, Atlanta predominantly just came at Aaron Rodgers with a three-man rush. We talked about it coming into this game. They had to do a better job with 5- and 6-man pressures. Right away, they come after Aaron Rodgers with him backed up on his own goal line.
Third down and 13 over the middle. Pass is caught, and a huge play. Jennings has it knocked out. Grimes has it for Atlanta. It's an early turnover. And now James Jones can't make a tackle. What a good block by Dante Robinson. And Grimes takes it into Green Bay territory. What a play. Stephen Nicholas knocked it out right there. Brent Grimes picked it up, and instead of a big third down conversion by Jennings in Green Bay, turnover, Atlanta has it.
Today's game is sponsored by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
Greg Jennings fumbled twice during the regular season against Atlanta. His only 2 fumbles. That's his third, all against the Falcons, none bigger than that one. Here's Michael Turner running right, and off the edge, Woodson makes the tackle, a gain of 4.
Well, you're going to see the release by Greg Jennings off the line of scrimmage against Stephen Nicholas. Nicholas just did not play that very well, but great effort here in the hustle. And that's what this defense has really been about. They've upgraded their speed, and they're relentless on the defensive side of the ball. So by hustling the way that he did, he's able to come in behind Greg Jennings and then knock the ball out. Just great effort on his part.
This was a Falcons team that was plus 14 in the turnover ratio. That was the 3rd best total in the league. And they get an early takeaway on what could have been a big play for Green Bay. Jenkins, first down inside the 25. 22 yards, and he beat Charles Woodson.
That was a nice route. Michael Jenkins, he gets up on Charles Woodson there. Looked like he might have used that right arm just a little bit to create some separation. You see Woodson, he turned immediately to look to see if there was a flag, but at the top of the route, it looked like he might have gotten separation with a little bit of an elbow push-off. It was subtle, but a well-thrown ball by Matt Ryan.
This was not a big play offense for Matt Ryan. They had only 44 plays of 20 or more yards, tied for the fewest in the league. That was good for 22. Here's Snelling, and that's Desmond Bishop who made the big hit. A gain of just 1. Howard Green was in there as well. So 2nd and 9.
You know, we're seeing right now the Atlanta Falcons and Mike Mularkey, the offensive coordinator, mix in a lot of the 2 tight end packages, and they had it there, and that was one of the few times they've gone with it where they've not run the ball pretty well. So some of the concerns that Capers had coming in were justified. They continue to run the ball overall very effectively from what they term their big personnel.
Woodson coming off the edge, and Ryan will be wrapped up by Clay Matthews. Matthews did not have a sack in the first meeting. Clabo shut him down. But Woodson is the one that forced that play and got Matthews in there for the sack.
Well, it's just a nice move by Clay Matthews. He comes up on Clabo. He puts a spin move, which was incorporated along with a twist with the defensive tackle. And he's able to get a free shot then on Matt Ryan. You know, even though he didn't have a sack in that last game, Joe, he was awfully disruptive, as he is each and every week. Sometimes the sacks don't tell the whole story. In fact, often they don't, even when he gets them, as to how dominant and relentless of a player he is.
Only 2 real defensive linemen out there for Green Bay. Ryan fires, and the pass is caught. That's Roddy White, and they're going to mark White just short of first down yardage. It'll be 4th down.
You know, normally you see these Packer corners challenge the receivers a little bit more, but playing pretty soft that time on Roddy White.
Officiating crew's going to call for a measurement if our line is anywhere close to being accurate. It'll be 4th down in inches. Crowd is already yelling for the offense to stay on the field and to go for it. John Perry is the referee, and that's how far short the Atlanta Falcons are. And let's see what Mike Smith.
Well, this is an interesting decision for Mike Smith to make. You know, you get down here at home, and it looks like they're going to go for it, but you know, there's something to be said here for coming away with some points and being the first team to draw blood.
The Falcons were the best 4th down offense in the NFL. They were 11 of 15 this season. They can run it. They've got a Pro Bowl fullback in Ovi Mihaly. And the huddle is begging this crowd to quiet down.
See if he's really confident here, he'll go play action.
Mihaly gets it. Depends on the spot. Ovi Mihaly carried it 13 times during the regular season. And it's a 1st down Atlanta.
Yeah, it's a good job by the offensive line, in particular left guard Justin Blaylock. Really collapsing that left side, and Ovi Mihaly then coming off of that block. You see, he initially wanted to head straight up the field, but he sensed that it got collapsed to that side and was able to cut back and pick up that 1st down.
Mike Smith is 33 and 15 in the regular season in his 3rd year with Atlanta. Part of what's been a tremendous turnaround here with the Falcons. Here's Turner. Michael Turner won't go down. Touchdown Atlanta.
Right here, Will Svitek, the 6th offensive lineman that they opened the game up with. They come back with it, give the ball to Michael Turner, and for a guy with his size and power, he's got awfully good feet.
It was the first play after the 4th down conversion. It was a balanced attack after the fumble by Greg Jennings, forced by Nicholas. And the Green Bay Packers came in saying we need to tackle better than in the first meeting. Tackling no better there. Touchdown Atlanta, up by 7.
Today's game is sponsored by the all-new 100% reinvented Ford Explorer. Drive one. By Sprint, the Now Network. And by Pizza Hut. Your favorite plays deserve your favorite pizza. Your favorite's your Pizza Hut.
A city that was hit with an ice storm last weekend that shut this town down. Atlanta, Georgia. There's the drive after the Jennings fumble. And Kanan will kick it away for Atlanta. James Starks, the running back, waits for it from inside the end zone. He's got speed. He's a big guy, 6'2". Gets near the 20. That's it. Croy Bierman, who is the starting defensive end, has been back on kickoff coverage, and he was downfield to make the stop. Green Bay will have it for the 2nd time. Aaron Rodgers trots on down 7. Look at the time of possession as the Packers start at their 19. Abraham came across too soon. Rodgers has a free one, and he overshoots Donald Driver. It'll be 1st and 5. John Abraham came across.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Snap, offside, defense, number 55. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Unfortunately for Green Bay, they had a shallow routes all across the board called because Aaron Rodgers knew with Abraham coming off sides, as you said, Joe, he had a free play and he wanted to take a shot down the field. Just nobody was doing it.
Falcons were the least penalized team in the NFL. It's 58 times. They get one there. It's 1st and 5. Starks at tailback, and he gets it running right. He can run. And trying to get to the edge. He's out of bounds. A yard shy of a 1st down. 2nd and 1. Deku on the stop. Here are the backs and receivers. Brandon Jackson listed as a starter there. But we've already seen a lot of James Starks and Chad Clifton, who Howie Long talked about in our pregame show. For the 2nd time will be a Pro Bowl left tackle. Mike McCarthy in his 5th year. 2nd and 1. Starks picks his way for a 1st down. A lot of bodies back there initially, and James Starks, who is 6'2", 218, picks up 4 and a 1st down. Now we look at the defense. Coordinated by Brian Van Gorder, 16th best in the NFL. Pro Bowler is John Abraham, and the secondary is without Brian Williams, who is the nickelback, and that is a big loss out with a knee injury when you face a team like Green Bay.
Well, a much improved group on the back end this year for the Atlanta Falcons.
Delayed handoff. Brandon Jackson room to move. And Jackson with a nice carry. Forgotten guy last week. Carried it only 3 times for 10 yards, and he eclipses that here with a 14-yard run.
Yeah, Brandon Jackson, who has been fairly solid, you know. I mean, there's nothing real flashy about his game, and, you know, he's not going to rattle off the big run. You know, the Packers, through the regular season, had the fewest 20-yard runs in the National Football League with just 3, and I think that's why it was so surprising last week when James Starks, his first runs for 27 yards.
Still on the ground, and it's Starks. He runs hard, and he picks up 4. Mike Peterson on the tackle.
You know, and you mentioned it, Joe, that Starks, for what, a 6th-round pick and a guy who's battled some injuries, and you know, Mike McCarthy says, hey, this guy's the most talented running back that we have. And I asked Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers yesterday if they both attended the parade there on James Starks Day in Green Bay. That was a heck of a week that he had. A lot of ink in the newspaper.
You were kidding, but if he has a good one here this week, they may throw it. 2nd and 6. Rodgers wide open as Kuhn out of the backfield, and you can hear all the Packer fans as he has become a folk hero up north. John Kuhn, who was a free agent from Shippensburg and a guy who set 27 school records in college, picks up a 1st down as he hauls it in out of the backfield.
And a little bit of a tendency breaker there by Mike McCarthy. Remember last week the Packers had a lot of success running the ball from their 3-back set called the Bone. Well, they come out in it for the first time tonight, and they get the ball to Kuhn on a pass. You like that formation?
I love the name. Rodgers letting the play clock get down to 0s. They just got it away, and Starks over the left side picks up 1. Babineau is there for the tackle. James Starks played at the University of Buffalo, their all-time leading rusher. He did not play his senior season because of a shoulder injury. Made his debut December 5th against the 49ers, had a nice day. 73 yards. Then was basically shut down at Detroit, then was inactive for 2 weeks, and now he's a playoff hero after week 1. Second and 9, quick throw for Driver. Been bothered by a bruised knee, makes a move and picks up 3. Jamal Anderson out there on the stop.
Well, last week it was James Starks. 2 weeks ago it was Eric Walden. I'm just wondering who it's going to be tonight. You know, I mean, that's the way it's been all season long for these Green Bay Packers. 91 games lost this year by starters for the Green Bay Packers. Only 3 other times has that happened, and those 3 teams didn't win more than 6 games. Mike McCarthy, in my opinion, NFL Coach of the Year.
Third down and 6. Rodgers uses his feet and now finds a man for the first down, Jennings, and that's how the first quarter will end. An 18-yard completion from Rodgers to Jennings on 3rd and 6. Everybody can catch their breath here in Atlanta. It has been loud. Back after this. During the regular season, Atlanta scored 115 points off turnovers, 4th most in the NFL. That's how they got their 7 after a Greg Jennings fumble. Packers are on the march now. This drive started at their own 19. 8 plays later, 58 yards later, 5 minutes off the clock later, they have a first down at the Atlanta 23. So far for Aaron Rodgers, 2 playoff starts, both on the road. 7 touchdowns he's thrown, only 1 pick. Rodgers to Driver. Somehow Donald Driver hangs on. Play was blown dead after a gain of 5. Curtis Lofton, in the middle linebacker, out there to make the stop. It seems like a small thing, but we've talked so much already about the crowd noise, and we spoke to Aaron Rodgers about it. How he maintains his voice throughout the course of this game, heck, throughout the course of the week in practice when they have to practice in crowd noise.
It's impressive to me that he gives it that much thought during the week. I never did, and I would lose my voice in a loud stadium. But his offensive linemen say his voice cuts right through the noise. They really do not have a problem at all hearing him.
Fake the handoff. No block out there by Driver, and Jennings is wrapped up after a gain of only 2. Grimes on the stop. So a 3rd and short coming up for Green Bay.
We saw on that first possession there for the Green Bay Packers, the early going, that Atlanta came after Aaron Rodgers pretty good. Haven't seen much of it here on this possession. Packers showing a 5 wide receiver set for the first time tonight.
Brett Swain at the top of your screen. On 3rd down, pass is caught. Jordy Nelson, first down. They can come at you, Troy, so many ways. And Mike Smith, the Atlanta Falcons head coach, said you have to guard and game plan for 5 wide receivers all the way down to 3 running backs, and they went 5 wide and got it to Nelson.
They go 5 wide with just a 3-man rush, and you see Sean Weatherspoon, the rookie, trying to cover, a pretty savvy guy here in Jordy Nelson. And I've always said that, he's the guy who really creates some matchup problems. You see Aaron Rodgers with a silent count. He can see the play clock, and so they snap it when Scott Wells is ready to snap it, but sometimes Aaron Rodgers got to prod him so that he'll get it off in time.
Handoff is to Starks. Starks picks up 2.
It's a nice possession right here for the Green Bay Packers. Being able to move the ball and get back down here into a position. Remember the last time they played, they moved the football, had over 400 yards of offense in that game. A critical turnover, though, by Aaron Rodgers down in the red zone, which failed to give them any points, which ultimately ended up being the difference in the game.
2nd and goal. Spread him out again. Rodgers has time, slings it to Nelson. Touchdown, Green Bay. What an impressive throw, and then the catch, and Nelson got it on or around the pylon. Here's Dante Robinson with a tackle, and right on the pylon.
And that was due to some awfully good protection up front. But again, the Falcons decide not to come after Aaron Rodgers, and with a clean pocket, Rodgers was really able to survey the field pretty well. Good effort by Jordy Nelson, getting that in for the touchdown.
Maybe Nelson will be a hero and a star today for the Green Bay Packers. 6-yard touchdown throw, and we're tied. You worry about Jennings, Driver, the new running game. Heck, even John Kuhn. It's Jordy Nelson with the first points for Green Bay, and we're tied. What a drive put together by Green Bay on the road with all this noise, down 7-0, starting at their 19, taking it 13 plays. Rodgers was perfect on it. An impressive throw. For those of you wondering, when the ball hit the pylon, dead in the end zone, touchdown. So the right call on the field, and now Weems on the return, has some room, has some blocking, and there he goes. The Pro Bowl returner, Eric Weems, touchdown, no flags.
Showed you why he's a Pro Bowl returner. You see the wedge, it's a middle return, and he just hits it right up the middle.
102 yards. He had a 102-yarder during the regular season. And Eric Weems, who was from the same hometown as his head coach Mike Smith, actually predates Smith here with the Falcons. Ormond Beach, Florida. Mason Crosby, the kicker, had a shot at him. After that, it was all over. The difference maker, Weems, 14-7 Atlanta.
Today's game is sponsored by the Miller Lite Vortex bottle. Taste greatness. By Chili's. Chili's wild or mild entrees are dinner's answer to dull. And by the Chevy Silverado HD, Motor Trend's 2011 Truck of the Year.
Give that man some oxygen. 102 yards, a Falcons playoff record. And the go-ahead points from number 14. He's their top special teams tackler, and he is their top and one of the best return men in all of the NFL. And in a blink, 7 points on the board for Atlanta and a 7-point lead. Starks has it go off his arm and out of bounds at the 8. Ball may have been headed out of bounds, and Starks was relatively new at that. It might have stayed in, missed it, and it goes out at the 8. Back to the kick return.
Yeah, you can see Mason Crosby, by him getting turned around, he took out a couple guys, Nick Collins being one who might have been able to make a play, and somebody needed to go out there and get Mason Crosby's athletic supporter off the field after that play.
102 yards. It's only the second kickoff return in a playoff game for a touchdown by a Falcon, and then he gives the football to his mom. Tim Dwight had the other in the Super Bowl.
Well, what a dynamic player he has been for Atlanta this year, and I think you said it, Joe. As good as he's been as a return guy, the fact that he leads special teams and tackles is what impresses me.
Here is a quick completion to Jennings, somehow hangs on, and a gain of 6. Super Bowl Sunday, don't miss the Bridgestone Super Bowl 45 halftime show, starring the Black Eyed Peas, Sunday, February 6th, only on Fox. We know the Ravens will not be there. They blew a 21-7 halftime lead, outscored in the second half 24-3 and lost 31-24. Second down and 4. Starks doesn't get it. Driver does. And Donald Driver is wrestled down out across the 35 at the 38. Christopher Owens threw him to the ground, and then those two got into it a bit. A 24-yard completion.
Donald Driver coming off a big game from a week ago. He's going to be crossing. He's on after the play fake. He's on the deep crosser. And that's the area of the field that really the Packers are going to have to be able to take advantage of. A lot of zone coverages by the Atlanta Falcons. Not a lot of area outside the numbers. You see Aaron Rodgers already working the middle of the field a lot.
On first down, another throw. And you can see the fastball that Rodgers has. He completes it out to midfield to Greg Jennings for 12 yards. Jennings had 5 catches for 119 yards the first time these two teams met at the end of November.
I think you look at this game right now, and as we talked about coming in, Joe, that the Atlanta Falcons, they wanted to continue to play the way that they have played and the way that they have won games all season long, and that's what they've done. They've done it on special teams. They get the return by Weems for the touchdown. They create the takeaway defensively, and offensively they've been pretty efficient.
Running game has been abandoned, and trying to set up a screen for Brandon Jackson. Incomplete.
Well, they had a chance there too. Rodgers just rushed the throw, but if he's able to deliver a good ball on that one to Jackson, he had a convoy out in front of him.
Aaron Rodgers had completed 11 straight, and after he missed on that, he went about 15 yards behind where he's standing right now out of frustration. That was there. 2nd and 10.
Here they come.
Here they come. Missing on a blitz was William Moore, and the pass complete. James Jones down the sideline. Guilty of a big drop last week against Philly. 2 weeks prior to that against the Giants. He didn't miss here.
Well, you're going to see Aaron Rodgers, because of his escapability. I mean, he got a free run. William Moore, and he misses him.
56.
And Aaron Rodgers, he just threads this one right along the sidelines.
First down.
You see James Jones right there, just a perfect throw. James Jones, who's had a couple untimely drops, does a nice job.
Mike Smith is right there, the head coach, carefully watching the feet of James Jones as he picked his way down the sideline for 34 yards. And now inside the red zone are the Green Bay Packers, down 7. Starks can't cut it back, and now drives forward for 1.
Well, I think you look at Atlanta defensively, and they've actually done a pretty good job when they've come after Aaron Rodgers. I mean, as far as disrupting the timing, you've got to get him off the spot. When they've allowed him to sit back and throw in the pocket without more than a 4-man rush, he's had a lot of time. When William Moore had him, it was a good call. He just failed to make the play.
Second and 9, they fake the handoff. Rodgers throws. It's caught. James Jones again.
Boy, that's a dangerous throw right there by Aaron Rodgers. You talk about a guy who trusts his arm strength, and you could tell by that look right there, even Aaron knew that was a little bit questionable, but he throws it high, and James Jones is able to make a play on it. This is a nice drive right here by Green Bay after they lost all the momentum that they had gained on their previous possession after the kick return touchdowns, to take this off of their own end of the field and drive down here inside the 10.
Started at the 8. 3rd and 3. Rodgers. Down he goes. And a loss on the play of 6 yards. Babineau was in there, but he was not alone.
Well, Rodgers want to work these inside receivers, and you see Atlanta does a nice job just trailing and staying underneath them, and then they've got safety help over the top. Just nowhere for Rodgers to go with the ball.
Illegal contact. Defense. Number 20. 5-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
Well, a huge penalty on this Atlanta defense. I didn't see the flag. Aaron Rodgers was enveloped in the backfield, and it's illegal contact on Owens, who wouldn't let go of Greg Jennings.
Yeah, you know, Joe, I saw that when it happened, and I didn't see the flag either because it looked like he certainly had gotten away with one. Now remember, that's Christopher Owens, who's getting his opportunity as the nickel corner because of the injury to Brian Williams.
You have to believe Rodgers is going to pick on 21. It's a far different number 21 in a Falcons uniform than the other guy who used to wear it. Starks. James Starks picks up 2.
Boy, there's something to be said for James Starks, and as a play caller, when you know that you're going to fall forward, and that's really, for a guy with limited carries, that has been something that's been pretty consistent about him. You know, he's a physical guy, and even for as powerful as he is, he's got pretty good feet, and he doesn't typically fall backwards when he's going down.
Also can run a 4.4 40 at 2nd and goal from the 3. Here come the Falcons. Quick throw and more contact. They're going to throw a flag on Owens again. They went right after him, Donald Driver, and this was an easy call in the end zone.
Yeah, he tackles him right at the top. You know, he grabs him and doesn't let him out of the break, and you know, you can only imagine.
Pass interference, defense, number 21. That foul occurred in the end zone, so by rule, the ball will be placed at the 1-yard line.
You can only imagine how Christopher Owens feels. Here's a guy who was a starter at the end of last season, came into this year as the nickel corner, lost his job to Brian Williams. Williams goes down in the last game of the season against Carolina, and all of a sudden he's told, hey, you're making a start in just your 2nd year in your first playoff game when you hadn't really been playing all that much. He's playing a little scared out there right now.
From the 1, 1st and goal. Here's Starks. Did not get in. Got a big hit from Coy Wire.
It's just who's going to be able to move who. And I think when James Starks took off, he thought that once he left his feet here, he was going to score. That's just a good job by Coy Wire, meeting him right in the hole and turning him sideways.
B.J. Raji, the big nose tackle. 6'2", 337 is in there, and
I think I'd follow his lead block.
Kuhn is behind him, and he spins in for the touchdown, Green Bay. And B.J. Raji led the charge into the end zone.
Well, there was no doubt they were going to run to the right side. I mean, you got B.J. Raji, and then you got Quinn Johnson right here. No doubt that that's where they were going. That's a lot of mass.
Quinn Johnson, Troy's 263.
Yeah, no, hey, he brings a punch too.
The other guy's 337. And Kuhn, who's a real good short yardage back, is 250. We're tied. How about that march that started at the 8?
Well, if that other formation's called the bone, we'll call that one the big bone.
And we are tied in Atlanta. What a game. Eric Weems is fresh off the longest scoring play in postseason history. Last time he touched it. But then a drive that started at their own 8 by the Green Bay Packers. They go all the way down the field. A 10-play drive. Impressive. 2 defensive penalties helped it along, and now directionally kicking it to Snelling. And Snelling is hit hard by Francois. John Kuhn in on the tackle as well. John Kuhn was into the end zone on the previous possession. B.J. Raji, nose tackle, fullback, number 90. Take a bow.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Cadillac, the new standard of the world.
As you look at the offensive leaders for Atlanta, last time the Falcon offense was on the field, there was 5 minutes left in the first quarter. A couple of long drives since then by Green Bay offensively. The kick return by Weems for the touchdown, tied at 14.
Yeah, they just ran 16 plays here in this first half thus far.
Starting at their 35 after the turn by Snelling, and here's Turner out to the 39, picked up 4. These are two teams that played close games all season long. In fact, Atlanta won 6 games when they trailed in the fourth quarter. They did miss a couple of times, opening week at Pittsburgh and then second to last week at home against New Orleans, and then Green Bay lost 6 games all year by a total of 20 points. And we're tied at 14, 2nd and 6. They fake it. Finneran wide open. First catch of the day, and Finneran takes it into Green Bay territory. 11 yards. They're going to mark him down right at midfield. Pepper on the stop.
You see Clay Matthews, when you've got a guy that hustles as much as what Matthews does and likes to pursue the running game from the backside, you misdirect them. So you've got Matt Ryan off play action coming out. Brian Finneran initially shows run. He gets to the flat. Easy completion, nice pickup.
Free agent who joined this team, played collegiately at Villanova. He's been here since 2000, and he's been possession type receiver, good special teams player now. On first down, Ryan hit as he let it go, and a flag will be thrown. Roddy White couldn't make the catch.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, contact to the quarterback's head, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Colin Jenkins was the one back there.
Yeah, that's a tough one, because you're going to see Colin Jenkins. He's trying to get through Harvey Dahl, and as he's trying to then knock the ball down, he gets the hand on the helmet. That's the right call. I mean, that's what they're looking for. And initially, it looked to me like he just grazed the helmet, but he clearly grabbed the top of the helmet. Anytime you get near the headgear of the quarterback, you're going to have a flag called on you.
To go in the first half. Delayed handoff. Turner. Michael Turner rumbles down inside the 30 for 7. Desmond Bishop on the tackle.
You know, Michael Turner, he's a big man. I mean, here's a guy who's probably closer to 250 pounds, and he's able to squeeze through some pretty tight spaces. And on that one, there wasn't a whole lot of room, yet he made himself skinny enough to get through and have a nice pickup.
Colin Jenkins said Turner's so stocky, seems like he's 5'5", 250. Here's Jenkins, forced out by Shields, and now a good drive being put together by Atlanta. 13 yards and a first down.
And what Atlanta is doing is they're now going to their no-huddle offense. You see Charles Woodson coming off the slot, and they will get into this at various times whenever they feel like they've got personnel on the field that they like, or they want to change the tempo, and they've done it here.
Here is Turner, bounces off Clay Matthews, picks up a yard. This is the number 7 red zone offense in the NFL. They converted these opportunities into touchdowns 60% of the time. They're 1 for 1 today, 2nd and 9.
And one of the reasons why they are good down here is they've got a quarterback who makes good decisions. He throws the ball accurately, and they also do a pretty good job of pounding you with the running game.
Start. Number 73, offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
They get Harvey Dahl. When they were lined up, Troy, they had Michael Turner in the slot to the near side of the field.
Well, I can't imagine that they're going to throw it to him, because he had a career high 12 catches this year for a tailback. That's almost impossible to have that few of receptions for a starting tailback in the National Football League. You know, just check downs and a quarterback under duress and toss it down to you, but he just does not catch a lot of balls.
2nd and 14 now. Weems in the slot this time. Pressure off the edge, and it's Woodson doing what he does best. And a sack by Charles Woodson, who had 2 during the regular season.
Yeah, and what did Charles Woodson tell us? The thing that he likes to do when he comes on the blitz is he wants to move the quarterback off the spot. Now, there's nobody there to even try to block him, and so he comes in, and he's able to get a direct hit on Matt Ryan. Ryan saw it. You know, he just thought that he was going to be able to find somebody open before Charles Woodson got there, and he didn't. And I tell you, Anytime Charles Woodson's in the slot, when you go 3 wide receiver, I'd certainly be checking him as soon as I got the ball, because more times than not, he's coming.
Loss of 7. It's 3rd and 21. Ryan, a pump fake, going to go for it all. End zone, broken up and now intercepted. Tramon Williams, who has been tremendous, ended the game last week in Philadelphia with 33 seconds left, and now he steps in front of Jenkins. Jenkins fell down. Williams did not. Now a turnover by Atlanta. Packers have it tied at 14. These Falcons don't turn it over much. Ryan threw only 9 interceptions during the regular season. You can see Matt Ryan saying that's my fault. Packers had 24 picks during the regular season, second most in the NFL. And that for Tramon Williams, his second of the postseason. Here's a pass caught. Nice reaching grab made by Corliss, the tight end. Green Bay with time. 3 timeouts left. And they're going to try and get away one more play before the 2-minute warning. No, they won't. Took a while to spot the ball, and 2 minutes left. 2nd down and 4 when we come back. Big John Abraham came away limping after that last play. Packers have it. 2 minutes left in Atlanta. 4-time Pro Bowl defensive end John Abraham looks okay. He's been bothered by a bad groin, but was pointing to his knee when he came out. 13 sacks during the regular season. 2nd and 4. Movement, and they're going to blow it dead. Rodgers airs it out. This play doesn't count. And it could be a neutral zone infraction, which would be a 1st down for Green Bay.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 71. 5-yard penalty. Result, 1st and 10. Green Bay.
This is why that silent count, the way that they run it now, they're able to still get defenses to jump, because they've gotten so good at whether it's a foot, a hand, the center raising his head, whatever it is. Of course, right now, this being a passing down in a situation here before the end of the half, these guys are trying to get a good jump off the ball.
Least penalized team has racked up 5. Blitz. Rodgers spins out. This is why he is so good and so dangerous, as the man who has suffered 2 concussions this season doesn't invite contact, hops out with a 6-yard gain. Let's go back to the Williams pick.
Watch the safety right here, and you're going to see Matt Ryan. What he does, he's trying to move him, and by moving him, he's late on the throw, because Michael Jenkins, when he came off the line of scrimmage against Tramon Williams, Williams was beat. And he spent so much time trying to influence a safety, he doesn't get the ball out in time. And that's why, as you said, Joe, Matt says, hey, that's my fault. And when you throw it against Tramon Williams, as Michael Vick found out last week, you better be awfully precise with the ball.
That'll be a delay of game. Little cavalier with getting the play off.
Delay game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Visa halftime is coming up. Kurt Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy. We'll have first half analysis. Ours is evidently not good enough. And then they'll talk about the Pittsburgh victory at home over Baltimore.
They just want to accentuate it. You know, hey, we saw John Abraham. He's a little hobbled, but he and Troy Bierman have to be a factor in this game with their pass rush if they're going to get after Aaron Rodgers. They can't depend on bringing extra people. Right now, Aaron Rodgers, only 2 incompletions on the day.
Has all day and finds Jennings in the middle of the field. Jennings hangs on, gets hit from behind, and now the Packers have it inside Atlanta territory and use a timeout.
Well, they block Abraham in the middle. They come with a 3-man rush, which is what Aaron Rodgers picked apart the last time they played. They're just not getting any pressure when they don't bring extra people, and that's responsibility of the defensive ends that have got to be able to get home. You see down the middle of the field, even when they're dropping 8 guys, there's a pretty good window right there for Greg Jennings. For Aaron Rodgers to get him the ball.
Rodgers threw for 344 in that first meeting. Troy, we've said it the last couple of weeks. We've had the Packers, it seems like, the last 3 months. But it's worth you telling the folks what you think of Aaron Rodgers as he now plays in his 3rd career playoff game.
Well, I think the guy's terrific. And I tell you this, if I was a general manager starting an NFL team today and could take any quarterback I wanted, it'd be Aaron Rodgers.
So confident. So talented. He's got 4 20-plus yard completions. He gets it to Corliss. And Andrew Corliss, the rookie who's taken over. Remember, the Green Bay Packers had one of the great weapons in the NFC in Jermichael Finley, who they lost in October at tight end. Similar body as Corliss. Too big for corners and too fast for linebackers to cover. 2nd and 2. Quick throw, and now it's incomplete off the hands of Jennings. 3rd down coming up. That throw a little behind. You know, one more thing about Rodgers, he seems to have all the intangibles as well, which is what we all saw when he had to wait in the wings with Brett Favre, Willie or Woney, and then when he took over, well, he almost just put together his 3rd consecutive 4,000-yard passing season.
Yeah, and there's a tendency for us to think of him as a young quarterback because it's just his 3rd year as a starter, but this is his 6th season.
3rd and 2. Three-man rush. Rodgers throws it across the middle for Driver, and Driver to the 20. And it's another 20-yard completion. He's got 5 of them here in this first half. This one to Driver.
Well, he's getting such great protection inside that he's able to step up in the pocket because there's no interior pressure, and that's why you constantly see him. Watch here in the middle. Josh Sitton, your right guard, Scott Wells, Darren College. Those 3 guys right there in the middle do a good job, and it affords Rodgers time to step up, slide out. You see it each and every week when you watch a Packers game, and then Rodgers is looking downfield constantly. This guy right now, he's been on a streak for the last 8 or 9 games, and he's smoking right now.
It's a charge timeout to Atlanta as Stephen Nicholas is on the ground, couldn't get up. Now he's up and limping away. They have Sean Weatherspoon, who's their 1st-round pick out of Missouri, who's more in on pass downs. Nicholas is now the starter, and he is slow to get off the field.
I just think right now, Joe, the defensive coordinator Brian Van Gorder, he just really doesn't know exactly what to do, because it all starts with trying to get pressure then on Aaron Rodgers. John Abraham had a chance on him when he came free, and Aaron Rodgers made him miss, and then he scrambles out of the pocket. They've had guys free at times, haven't been able to make a play. Then you go 3-man rush, 4-man rush, there's no pressure, bring extra guys, and he's picking you apart down the field. Whatever he's done, Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy have had an answer.
Only 3 incompletions for Rodgers in this half. Now a 4-man rush. Rodgers for James Jones. Jones fought for it. Touchdown. What a catch. Went right over Brent Grimes. And the guy who has had the drops fought for it, hauled it in, touchdown.
That's great coverage right there by Brent Grimes, and you're right, what a great catch by James Jones. Felt so bad after last week's drop against the Eagles, it would have been a touchdown. Texted Aaron Rodgers this week apologizing. Aaron Rodgers said, hey, I don't want to hear it. I'm coming your way. I'm going to continue to throw you the ball. He trusts him on that play with great coverage, and Jones comes down with it.
So it's 21-14, and it's now been 14 unanswered points after that 102-yard return by Weems. Here's the touchdown. Packers did not lead in the previous meeting at the end of November. They now have their first lead. 3 Green Bay touchdowns in this second quarter, and the country, who's ever tuning into this game, is seeing exactly why. Aaron Rodgers, they may be a 6-seeded team, but what they do offensively, all those weapons, you're seeing why they're so dangerous.
That's right, and why they're so dangerous is because of the way that Aaron Rodgers has been playing, and what a game. I mean, when you've got Eric Weems who returns the kickoff for a touchdown, you know, for a lot of teams, it's game over at that point. Few teams come back from that type of play and are able to score the way that the Green Bay Packers were able to. And then on the other end, Matt Ryan drives his team back down there, and they get the interception. And so there's been a lot of shifts of momentum here in this first half. But the guy who's been making it happen for the Packers is that guy right there, Aaron Rodgers.
Running game really not the factor it was a week ago in Philadelphia. Here is a line drive kick. That's Finneran on the return. And Finneran takes a dive at the 35. American Idol is back with a 2-night season premiere. You've heard all the talk. Now we're ready to sing. All new season of extraordinary talent. TV's biggest phenomenon finally returns. American Idol now on Wednesdays and Thursdays, premiering this Wednesday at 8 Eastern, 7 Central on Fox. Jennifer Lopez, Steven Tyler, joining Randy Jackson, Ryan Seacrest. It's back this week. There have been uncharacteristic mistakes by the Atlanta Falcons in this game. This is not the style game they played to get to the top seed at 13-3.
No, and you let it all hang out here in the playoffs, but they've got to be careful right here.
Ryan over the middle, and Snelling is drilled and brought down by Hawk, who has really played well over the last month and a half, and a timeout is taken by Atlanta. They have one left. If you track the late season for James Jones, second to last week of the regular season, James Jones dropped points. Was wide open on the sideline. And last week in Philadelphia, just before the end of the half, missed on what would have been a 63-yard touchdown pass and might have blown that game open. Jones has got a couple of catches, a big one down the sideline to set up the previous touchdown, and now this, just absolutely fighting for it for 7 points.
Yeah, Brent Grimes, I mean, you couldn't ask a corner to play that any better. He had his hand there, and for James Jones to be able to wrestle that thing away from him, that's great concentration.
Second down and 8. To the sideline, Douglas is knocked out by Shields. Sam Shields, who's a rookie corner and a guy who played just 1 year at Miami at cornerback. He's got unbelievable speed, was in the 4.2s running his 40, got a 39-inch vertical leap, and that rookie right there has made a big difference defensively for Dom Capers.
You know, not a lot of people talk about Sam Shields really outside of Green Bay. You know, Sam Bradford likely is going to be your rookie of the year, or
I don't mean to cut you off, but before this play is run, I don't know if Douglas was in when he made that catch. Maybe academic, unless there's a completion here, and instead it's Shields battling Jenkins, and they'll throw a flag. Shields hasn't had a penalty called on him all season, and they're going to flag him here.
You got a pretty good size disadvantage for Shields in a ball that you've got, you know, Michael Jenkins trying to come back and make a play, and that's the right call. You know, he's trying to go up and play the ball, but he never turned his head, and that was an easy call to make. Now, that's dangerous as a defensive back when the ball's underthrown, particularly against a guy that's much taller than you. Michael Jenkins comes in at 6'4".
A 23-yard penalty, and now it gives the Falcons hope with 19 seconds left. Pump fake. There's contact. A flag. Tramon Williams ran into Roddy White.
Yeah, right at the pump fake is when Tramon Williams came up. You know, he bid on the pump, and on the move here by Roddy White. You see right there on that move is when Matt Ryan pumped, although Tramon Williams wasn't looking.
Defense, number 38, automatic first down at the spot of foul.
Tramon Williams was in man coverage, but the move by Roddy White to the inside is what drew the penalty once contact was made.
Because the ball was in the air, it's pass interference instead of illegal contact. So it's a spot foul. It takes it to the 26. 14 seconds, 1 timeout left for Atlanta. That was a 12-yard penalty. Matthews coming on the blitz, and he wrestles down Matt Ryan. He twisted around, in a timeout taken by Atlanta.
Just a great twist up front. They get Harvey Dahl. He's working with the defensive lineman, and then Matthews is able to come off of it. Just sandwiches. You see the headgear right there by Matt Ryan. Just sandwich Matt Ryan right in the middle of the pocket. And you know that a drive that was looking pretty promising and likely takes him out of field goal range.
Well, right now you're looking at basically a 53-yard try. Falcons don't have any timeouts left. They're only 10 seconds, so they're going to try and get something out to the sideline quick to make it easier on Matt Bryant, who was hitting from 55 yards during warm-ups. His long this season is 51. His career long is 62 yards when he was with the Bucks in Tampa Bay against Philadelphia back in '06. So a bit of a risk. Pass is picked off. Tramon Williams, and he may go. They tried to bite off more yardage, and they just got burned.
Well, Joe, we talked about it. You've just got to be so good with the ball when you're throwing it against Tramon Williams, and this was just a horrible decision by Matt Ryan. He rolls out that side. Tramon Williams is going to be staring it down the entire way. This is a long way to make this throw in the air with Tramon Williams driving on it and seeing it released from your hand. You know, that relationship right there, that's a very poor decision by Matt Ryan. There's not a quarterback in the league that could have fit that ball in there.
So you try to get more yardage for a guy in Matt Bryant, the kicker, who had that distance anyway. I mean, you're talking about a 53-yard try, and it was just too risky. Not only do they not get the field goal try, Tramon Williams has his second and a 70-yard return for the touchdown. The Green Bay Packers score 4 touchdowns in the second quarter and lead it 28-14. And this loud dome is dead silent. Halftime, back after this from your local Fox station. Costello, that's a good way to start this second half. You can follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. This morning here at the Georgia Dome, 40 young football players from around the country took part in the punt, pass, and kick national finals. The participants competed in 5 age divisions ranging from 6 to 15 years old. Punt, pass, and kick, which began in 1961, counts Dan Marino and Troy Aikman among its past competitors. In fact, Troy won the 15-year-old division earlier this afternoon. Today's winners will be announced between the third and fourth quarters. For more information, go to NFLrush.com.
You know, you're one to talk. I heard you had a pretty good showing back in the day. Huh?
Yeah, but I...
Come on, don't be modest. You never have been before.
No, well, in this case, I will. Next to Super Bowl.
I went out in the first round. You kidding me?
Did you?
I did.
Must have been raining. You could never throw a wet ball.
Well, they gave me a big ball. You know, I was 8 years old. They gave me a regulation-sized ball. I don't know if they still do that or not. I bet they don't.
You were already making excuses as an 8-year-old.
I learned early.
There are the first half stats. And the Packers will start this second half with a football. And we're about to hear from Chris Myers and then eventually Pam Oliver. Hear what the coaches had to say. Kanan drills it. He's had a great year. And wisely taking a knee is Pat Lee. Down to the field, here's Chris Myers.
Joe, when the Falcons came out of the locker room for the second half, there weren't any smiles, but there weren't any heads down either, and that includes Matt Ryan, who was told by his head coach, shake it off, the mistake. One play at a time was Mike Smith's message to his team. We may see a lot more of the no huddle. On defense, Mike Smith said we may have to gamble more. When we get to Rodgers, we got to make the tackle. And safety William Moore out injured with an ankle. He's questionable. They're already down defensive back Brian Williams inactive, and they've picked on Christopher Owens. So that could be a problem, Troy and Joe, as this game plays out in the secondary.
Thanks, Chris. First down at the 20. Rodgers keeps it. And Rodgers goes down in a big sack by Abraham, the Pro Bowler, and he puts on the belt right in front of Aaron Rodgers. A loss of 10.
Oh, and Aaron Rodgers missed one. If he had stayed to his front side, Jordy Nelson was wide open for a touchdown. Nobody went with him. Brent Grimes read run, and he came in for support. Instead, Aaron Rodgers was working back to his left side, and then Abraham was able to beat Clifton for the sack.
It's a big defensive play for Atlanta. They need something to happen down 14.
Yeah, and they need it to continue to be John Abraham and Croy Bierman. Those two guys have got to have big second halves here.
First Falcons sack of the game. Rodgers sets up and throws, tries to get some of that yardage back. Jennings is good for 7. Let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Well, Joe, what did Mike McCarthy tell us? He told us that if the Packers were able to get 2 turnovers, they would be in a good position to win this game. I asked how Aaron Rodgers has been able to get in such a rhythm. Again, so said we have got to be able to handle the pressure the second half.
It's third down and 13, and it is loud.
And those 2 turnovers that Green Bay got was basically a 14-point swing.
Rodgers in trouble, gets away from Nicholas. Buys some time and a little shove. No flag. James Jones for a first down.
It's so good right there by James Jones and Aaron Rodgers. One, it's excellent by Aaron Rodgers just being able to escape the pocket, but James Jones starts like he's going to head up the sideline, and Aaron Rodgers is going to try. But that's what Mike Smith was talking about. You got to make the play. But he comes back and then finds him on the sideline there. Initially, James Jones is moving, trying to give him somewhere to go, starts up the field, and then senses he's in trouble and turns back around for the completion.
Got away with a little bit of a shove on Dante Robinson. 15 yards on 3rd and 13. Jordy Nelson shakes a tackle. Got around Grimes. He picks up 9. Ryan Van Gorder, the defensive coordinator for Atlanta, has got to be saying, what do we have to do? This February see NASCAR's biggest race like you've never seen it raced before. At the newly paved Daytona International Speedway, drivers can now go 3 wide. It's sure to be the most competitive and exciting Daytona 500 in recent history. NASCAR on Fox season begins with a running of the Great American Race February 20th. 2 Sundays after the Super Bowl here on Fox. 2nd and 1. 3 running backs. Starks gets it, picks up a first down, takes it into Atlanta territory, and keeps on churning. I mean, forget Atlanta for a minute. Whether you're Chicago or Seattle or anybody in the AFC watching this game and what they're doing offensively, the Green Bay Packers have to be sending some shockwaves through the league with what they're doing on the road here. Every way they try to do it.
Well, and they've been showing this for several weeks now. They beat you a lot of different ways. You know, early in the first half, running game's not working like it did last week. You got Aaron Rodgers. Defense playing great, creating takeaways. They can play low-scoring games, high-scoring games. What game you want to play, and we'll line up and play it.
Starks got a good block from Wells, the center, and picks up 8.5. Now they're going to run the ball. You look at the last 3 possessions, and this is what the Packers have been able to do offensively. It doesn't include the quick 70-yard return by Tramon Williams, his 2nd pick of this game.
How about that finish by James Starks? William Moore's back on the field, and he may want to rethink that one if he takes another shot like he just took from James Starks.
2nd and 1. They stay with him. Starks. I tell you what, I mean, you were joking, Troy, with Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy. They don't want to blow up Starks too much and just keep feeding an ego. And they say he's a great guy, but for somebody who has had so little opportunity, and to show what he has shown over the last 2 weeks and the way he does it, it's impressive. He may be for real.
Yeah, well, sure. He's got my vote. This guy's looked good, and these last 3 runs he's had to start this half, they've looked as good as anything he put out there last week.
Crowd has been taken out of it a bit, so Rodgers can change the play at the line. He keeps it, and now throws for Donald Lee, incomplete. 2nd and 10.
And you see Brian Van Gorder, you know, what can he do? You know, I mean, really, when you're able to line the people up that Green Bay has, that's a frustrated man right there, trying anything really to just slow this group down.
See the frustration by Mike Peterson on the sideline at 2nd and 10.
Yeah, I'd expect pressure here.
Starks takes it, looking for somewhere to go with it, and he takes it just outside the 31. A carry of 4 yards, 3rd down coming up.
You know what is interesting, though, I think Mike McCarthy is one of the most underrated play callers in football. I think the man is really, really good. And he's going to find out what's working, and he's going to continue to feature it. And in the first half, they did not run the football very well, but we do know he's not going to get away from it. And he comes out here to start this possession of the second half, mixing in the run, play action, some passes. But he is awfully good at knowing how to go after a defense each week.
Packers are 4 for 5 on 3rd down. Rodgers fires a strike to Jordy Nelson down inside the 20. Brent Grimes on the tackle. And a 14-yard completion on 3rd down.
Yeah, here's the blitz right here. You're going to see John Kuhn, number 30. He's going to step up, pick it up. Nice pocket again inside. Andrew Corliss helping out in the middle. And then Aaron Rodgers, who he really is right now. I mean, he's at the top of his game, and he's got all the answers. And he knows exactly where he wants to go with the football each and every time.
Needs a timeout. We'll take a break. First down when we come back. Packers already up 14 and on the move again.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By the Dodge Challenger. Visit your local Dodge dealer today. By Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. And by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
We'd like to welcome the men and women in uniform serving around the world, watching today's broadcast in 175 countries on AFN, the American Forces Network, and we thank you for all you do. We hope you're enjoying tonight's telecast. This game starting at 8 Eastern. Think how it started. The Falcons got that turnover, turned it into 7 points. Packers tied it. Kick return for a touchdown by Atlanta. Now 21 unanswered points put up by Green Bay, and they're looking for more. On 1st down, Rodgers, Jordy Nelson, and he is wrapped up by William Moore right at the marker, and it's enough for a 1st down to set up 1st and goal.
Well, Jordy Nelson gets turned loose once again. You're going to see Christopher Owens, he just lets him go, and then nobody picks him up. It was just a matter then if Aaron Rodgers was going to be able to find him, and we've seen Jordy Nelson now get turned free a couple times.
Good effort by Nelson to get the 1st down. 12th play of the drive to open this second half. Rodgers has time to survey the whole field, and now he'll run into the end zone. No signal yet. Touchdown. And Aaron Rodgers, who rushed for 4 during the regular season, is in from 7. Let's see if his knee is still up. when he breaks the plane.
Yeah, it looked to me like a good call. At the time his left knee was going to the ground, it looked to me, Joe, like the ball had crossed the goal line.
You get the forearm in it as well. And we'll see if Mike Smith wants to bother to challenge that.
He's in communication upstairs, and I think the way Green Bay's been moving it, he just says it's a moot point.
How about 28 unanswered points, and this time, after throwing for a couple, he takes it in from 7. He can do it with his arm, with his leg, with his mind. Rodgers on fire, so are the Pack. Up 35-14. Well, the roll continues for the Green Bay Packers. Their offense today fumbled on its first possession. Since then, 4 touchdown drives, all 80-plus yard drives. Here on the road, now a little pop-up kick. Weems will still get it at the 10. A little more hang time. Is there better coverage? The answer is yes. Brett Swain on the tackle. 18-yard return. Falcons have it, down 21.
Today's game is sponsored by Verizon 4G LTE. Rule the air on the most advanced 4G network in the world.
Well, the Atlanta Falcons offense not known for big plays. They're all giggles on the sideline for Green Bay. Atlanta Falcons offense needs big plays now, down 21, 8 plus to go in the third quarter. Extra men on the rush. Pepper doesn't get there, and the pass incomplete for Michael Turner. Let's go back to the touchdown run by Rodgers.
Yeah, you can see Aaron Rodgers, but Donald Lee here in the middle. He's going to get off the ball, and that's where Rodgers wanted to go with it in the end zone, but they both fall down, both he and Brent Grimes. Rodgers then had nowhere to go with it, but he does a pump fake just to try to get Curtis Lofton to settle a little bit. And that really, in essence, is what allowed Rodgers to get around that and into the end zone for the touchdown.
Here's Michael Turner. Not much. And this crowd's going to get frustrated real quick.
They're going to get frustrated, and not any more frustrated than what the Falcons are, but you know, the Falcons, as we know, they're not a big play offense. That's what hurts them right now. Last in the NFL in plays of 20 yards or more, second to last in pass plays of 20 yards or more. That affects you when you're down 21 points and you're having to climb back into it because you're playing against the clock. They know that if they don't score, give the ball back to Green Bay, the defense has shown no ability to slow them down.
Plus, this is an opportunistic Green Bay defense. Here's a big one for Jenkins, a nice completion. They're saying the ball came out on the sideline. Right now it's ruled a catch. And everybody over there says going to the ground, that ball came out. Let's take another look. He gets both feet down, and then that ball is knocked free.
Well, you can see as he comes down, and is it simultaneous with him going to the ground?
And a challenge flag is thrown by Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, and I think that ball's incomplete.
Well, we've got Mike Pereira with us up here in the booth. We'll hear from Mike when we come back. Catch secured, then knocked out by Nick Collins. And a challenge from Mike McCarthy.
Green Bay is challenging the previous play of a completed catch. We'll review the play. Timeout.
Well, you know what the Packers think. They think incomplete. If not, a 24-yard completion and a big one to Michael Jenkins. The call when we come back. Mike Pereira is with us, former head of NFL officials. Mike, what did you see on that play?
Well, I think here you got to look. Left foot's down, right foot down. He's not going to the ground, but there's no element of time here. Clearly, this is one on the field that you want to rule incomplete. But now remember, they rule this as a catch. But again, when you go back to the actual act of catching the pass when you're not going to the ground, you need to have the ball for an element of time. I think what they do here is reverse this, because you want to be consistent in replay with what you want called on the field. And we talked about that over the last couple of years. And of course, he lost control as he was going toward the ground also.
The fact that he eventually comes down with it and corrals it before the ball hits the ground is, I guess, immaterial because he lost it on his way out of bounds?
Well, because now you're out of bounds, and if you touch it out of bounds without complete control, that's another issue too.
Here's the call.
After reviewing the play, the receiver was contacted simultaneous with the second foot going down when the ball came loose. Therefore, by definition, it's an incomplete pass. 4th and 8 at the 28-yard line. Green Bay is not charged with the team timeout.
Instead of a 24-yard completion, it's 4th and 8 and a punt from the Atlanta Falcons. That's a big one taken off the board. And Mike Pereira is with us. He will also be in Chicago tomorrow for the early game. And the Chicago Bears host the 4th-seeded Seattle Seahawks.
I think Mike Pereira keeps his hitting streak alive. He's batting 1,000 this year, I believe. Right, Mike?
In the playoffs.
In the playoffs.
Let's drop the regular season.
There weren't many misses in the regular season. Tramon Williams waits for it. Williams has made his presence felt defensively. 2 interceptions, 1 in the end zone, and 1 he took 70 yards to the end zone. And now he's back to return the punt from Kanan. And Kanan shanks it. You talk about everything going wrong for Atlanta. Kanan hangs his head. That thing went nowhere. They're going to mark it in midfield. Just a 21-yard punt. So Kanan's upset. That completion to Jenkins is taken off the board, and this has the makings of a blowout here if the Green Bay Packers can't be slowed down. And so far, the last 4 times they've had it, they've not been able to be.
Well, now they're not taking advantage of opportunities. We saw the drop there after a good throw by Matt Ryan and good protection. And Ryan Van Gorder's had a tough night already as defensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons. Now how about giving the ball to this Green Bay Packer offense and Aaron Rodgers at midfield?
There's Tony Gonzalez, who's been at it for 14 years. There's been nobody better at the tight end position. Catching footballs, racking up statistics. He is 0 for 3 in the playoffs. Staring at a big mountain to climb here tonight. Donald Driver is good for 3. Terry Kurt and the NFL on Fox. All-Stars are heading to Hawaii for the Pro Bowl party with a special enhanced broadcast with more mic'd players than ever before. Super Bowl week kicks off with the 2011 Pro Bowl Sunday, January 30th, only on Fox. 7 days prior to Super Bowl 45. 2nd and 7. Here's Starks. Gets hit by Lofton. A gain of 2, 3rd down coming up.
You know, you look at the time of possession, and of course turnovers affect that. The kickoff return by Eric Weems affects that. But the Packers have a 9-minute advantage on time of possession here midway through the 3rd quarter. And a big reason for that is Aaron Rodgers, 28 passes thrown and just 4 incompletions. And so they've been able to keep the clock running, even though, as we said, in that first half, they didn't run the football very effectively. The Green Bay Packers have done to the Falcons what the Falcons have done to everybody else all season long.
Packers have missed only once on 3rd down. Rodgers not brought down by Abraham, and a 1st down throw to Jordy Nelson. Abraham whiffed on the sack and a completion of 8 yards for the 1st down.
I've seen it too many times. He runs a twist. It's a good move, good call. Executed perfectly by Atlanta, but then you got to make the play. And it seems that I've been saying that a lot here in this game because they've had free rushers, whether it's been secondary players, whether it's been John Abraham. That's the 2nd time that I remember that he's had a free run at Aaron Rodgers and has been unable to get him to the ground. Aaron Rodgers, we talk about it. Michael Vick, we know what his skills are. Led the league in rushing, as you would expect. Aaron Rodgers, the 2nd leading rusher for quarterbacks this year in the NFL.
Now over 300 yards passing in this game. Here's Starks right up the middle. Lowers his head and keeps fighting. Went right through Curtis Lofton, the middle linebacker, and picked up 6.
Yeah, Curtis Lofton was on skates right there. And you know, Lofton has had a good season. A guy who's been battling through a knee injury. And I know in talking with him, Joe, that he really felt he had a Pro Bowl year. And that this game, being in the playoffs, playing in a big game, letting his peers see him out there on the field in postseason play, was an opportunity for him to make a name for himself. Not sure that anyone's made a name for themselves tonight the way they had intended to for the Atlanta Falcons.
2nd down and 4. That bone formation behind Aaron Rodgers with Starks at tailback. He gets it. He almost broke that. Got around Babineau. Peterson made the stop. No gain. 3rd down coming up.
It's 3rd down.
So this is an Atlanta defense that's got to make a stop. The Packers are already in field goal range. For Crosby, who has yet to attempt a field goal this postseason.
I just look back at that first half, and when the Packers, after giving up the kickoff return touchdown, the way they answered that, immediately shifting momentum back to their side, was, I think, the turning point in the game.
It's 3rd down and 5. Good protection. Rodgers slings it. Driver. And a 1st down catch inside the 15 to the 11. This is a clinic.
Well, you see Aaron Rodgers, and we talked about it. He just gets such a good pre-snap read and knows exactly what the coverage is. You don't fool him, and that's because he spends so much time in the film room during the week getting prepared. He's got a rifle for an arm, and then he's accurate with it. You know, there's always a debate as to what the most important quality is for a quarterback when you're evaluating one, and to me it's all about accuracy first and foremost, because it doesn't matter how tough you are or how strong your arm is if you can't throw it where you want to. Aaron Rodgers does that effectively along with a lot of other things.
Here's John Kuhn. Hangs on to the ball, takes it to the 7. And it just every week, Troy, it's more vindication for general manager Ted Thompson. Ted Thompson has filled this roster with so much depth, and it was tested with 14 guys on IR, 6 opening day starters. But Ted Thompson was willing to move past Brett Favre. This is what he thought he had in Aaron Rodgers when he drafted him in the 1st round out of Cal. Nobody knew until he stepped out there and did it, and he's done it ever since he got the steering wheel.
And Ted Thompson knew before he had ever taken a snap in the NFL that, you know, you never know till it's proven, but he really believed he had a great one right from the beginning.
2nd down and 6. Starks, it's faked to him. Rodgers keeps it. Kuhn fights toward the end zone for the touchdown. And John Kuhn wants to catch his breath after that hit at the end of the play before his teammates pile on top of him. And there's another look. I look down to my right. Mike Pereira says touchdown.
Well, it looked like he got his body inside the pylon. Well, I don't know.
Pereira still nodding his head defiantly.
That's a close one. Mike Smith's not going to challenge that one either.
Doesn't matter. 42-14. 35 unanswered points. Kuhn got hit hard at the end of the touchdown, but he made it count. Look at what Aaron Rodgers has done in his first 3 postseason starts. 10 touchdown passes, only 1 interception. He's got 3 touchdown passes in tonight's game, 4 incompletions.
Well, in the last 9 games, 22 touchdown passes and 2 interceptions.
That's since the 1st of November.
You can win a lot of games playing like that at quarterback.
I'll say. A rolling football into the arms of Eric Weems, who thrilled the crowd here in the first half. Weems brought down by Pepra. And we look ahead to tomorrow for the moment. And what will take place at Soldier Field, the Seattle Seahawks, a stunning win against the New Orleans Saints, beating the biggest road favorite in NFL playoff history when they did it. And that game is early tomorrow. Forecast 21 degrees, mostly cloudy, against the 2nd-seeded Chicago Bears.
I think that's going to be a good game too, Joe. And a lot of people may not remember Seattle beat them earlier in the season. Now the Bears are a lot better team now than they were at that point.
Bears have won 7 of their last 9. One of those losses to Green Bay at Lambeau. Penalty flag flies as Jenkins makes the catch. Falcons have only, at the moment, 121 yards. Is this one coming back?
Pass interference, offense, number 12, 10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
Everything that's happened here tonight is just about the opposite of how the Atlanta Falcons got to 13-3. All these penalties, and there's the shove.
Well, and think back to 2 years ago when they traveled to Arizona. We came on the air talking about it, Joe, that Mike Smith really felt that when they got to Arizona, they were giddy because they were a young team, first-time head coach, rookie quarterback, that they played in ways that they had not shown all year long, and that they really believed they had gotten beyond that and would have a much better showing tonight. But they're doing the same thing all over again here.
Ryan throws, pass is caught. That's Gonzalez. And Gonzalez is a little slow getting up. That's his first catch. Meanwhile, the Packers have watched Atlanta get penalized 6 times here tonight. That ties a season high. And Tony Gonzalez, who's number 1 all time among tight ends in receptions, receiving yards, touchdown receptions. This year had his 11th season at 70 or more catches. Second all time to Jerry Rice, who had 13. He's the only one with more. And Tony Gonzalez in a lot of pain.
I mean, you think about it, Joe. Tony Gonzalez, having had the career and the resume that he has, arguably the greatest tight end that's ever played, certainly statistically it would suggest that. 0-3 coming in, as you said, has not won a playoff game. And so here is one of the really great players of all time. Forget not having made it to a Super Bowl, to have never experienced even what it's like to win a postseason game. Pretty amazing. He's been on some good teams too. He's on the #1 seed for Kansas City back in '97. They lost that game. And of course the #1 seed here tonight. This one's not looking too good either.
You look at the numbers over the last 18.5 minutes. Packers have outscored Atlanta 35-0. This is the second time the Falcons have been a #1 seed. Only other time was in 1980 when they gave up 3 fourth-quarter touchdowns and lost to Danny White and the Dallas Cowboys. As Gonzalez gets a nice hand getting off the field. And then the recent history, 98 team went to the Super Bowl. In 2002, the year Arthur Blank bought the Atlanta Falcons, they won a playoff game in Lambeau with a 22-year-old Michael Vick at quarterback. Then they eventually lost at Philadelphia. In 04, they lost at Philly in the NFC Championship game. And then the 2007 season, Troy, they just fell apart. They had a 4-12 year. Their starting quarterback, Michael Vick, ended up in the penitentiary for dogfighting. Their head coach walked away during the season, went back to college, Bobby Petrino. And what they've been able to build from 08 on, this is a big-time hiccup here tonight, but they are in a good position to be a good team for quite a while in the upcoming years. Here's Finneran, brought down by Bishop after a completion of 10.
Joe, I couldn't agree with you more. I think Matt Ryan is I think he's an exceptional young talent in this league, and it's not by accident that they've had winning seasons, 3 consecutive seasons, something that's never happened before here in Atlanta. I think Thomas Dimitroff, the general manager, I think he's doing a great job assembling this roster.
Here's Jenkins, makes a nice adjustment for the catch. Knocked down by Shields, but a completion of 22 yards and a first down.
Well, that's what they've got to do now. I mean, that's really the mindset, and has to be for Matt Ryan as well as Mike Mularkey, is you've got to start forcing some throws. Now that was one-on-one, and Jenkins makes a play. But here we are counting down the third quarter. They have got to force the ball down the field in chunks.
Here's one for Roddy White. And after that move, he picks up a first down. Good for 12. Falcons love running the no huddle anyway, so they pick up the pace. Down by 28. Under half a minute to go, third quarter. 4-man rush. Ryan over the middle, throws for Finneran. Gets a big hit from Pepra, but good for 19 yards.
Sometimes playing quarterback is a little bit easier in these situations because it takes all the decision making out of the equation. I mean, you've got to throw the ball into some tight spaces, and the guys on the other end of it have to make plays.
So Matt Ryan trying to get some points, taking him down the field. We're through 3 quarters. There's the big hit by Pepra. Completion to Finneran. NFL on Fox continues after this from your local Fox station. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we direct your attention to the end zone, where we would like to recognize the 10 national champions of the 2009-2010 NFL punt, pass, and kick program. Ray Anderson, NFL's Executive Vice President of Football Operations, will congratulate the punt, pass, and kick national champions. The 6 to 7-year-old champions are Jayla Medeiros and Caleb Appleby. The 8 to 9-year-old champions are Asia Mitchell and Chase Stoger. The 10 to 11 age group, Christina Lynch and Malik Muhammad. The 12 to 13-year-old champions are Chloe Wannick and Michael McAdoo. And finally, the 14 to 15-year-old champions are Carissa Miller and Dominic Berlin. The National Football League would like to thank all of the participants and volunteers who made the punt, pass, and kick a successful program in 2010. For more information about NFL youth programs and Play 60, please visit the website at nflrush.com. Let's give our national champions another round of applause.
A little talent there out of the state of Wisconsin.
And you could hear how many Green Bay Packer fans are in attendance here. The Steelers travel really well from the AFC, and you know the Green Bay Packer fans are thinking whenever the Packers are on the road, this is our chance to somehow see our team live, because at Lambeau it's a tough ticket.
Well, congratulations to all those kids. That's good stuff.
So now first down at the 13. Ryan throws for Finneran, and Finneran is crunched at the 5. Desmond Bishop, completion of 8 yards.
Brian Finneran, who was able to make the roster this year because of some injuries at the wide receiver position, is, I think, really had a nice career. He's a utility guy and does a lot of the tough stuff. Good blocker, makes a tough catch on that play.
Pack has scored 35 unanswered. Matt Ryan changes it at the line. 2nd and 2. Good pocket for Ryan, who throws for Roddy White. Touchdown. A little closer are the Falcons. And a good drive put together by Matt Ryan.
Yeah, that was, and they were able to get some decent sized chunks in the passing game, and more importantly, they were able to finish it off with a touchdown. And now, you know, we've seen Matt Ryan 6 times this year. He has brought his team from behind to win after trailing in the 4th quarter, 4 of those times in the last 2 minutes. But to do it tonight, he's going to have to continue to do that, and then the defense, of course, is going to have to make some stops.
It would be legendary if that happens here tonight. Drive 7 plays, 73 yards, 3:20 off the clock. Now down by 21, the hometown Falcons.
Today's game is sponsored by Nissan. Innovation for today, innovation for tomorrow, innovation for all. By New Line Cinema's new comedy Hall Pass, in theaters February 25th. And by Subway Restaurants. Start the new year right with the Egg White Muffin Melt.
Some of the stills from Troy's camera out amongst the tailgaters before tonight's game and during halftime. It's a 21-point game.
Yeah, and Mike McCarthy doing the right thing. He's putting his hands team out here for this kickoff, and it probably isn't something now that the Falcons would do, but maybe they would have. Think back to that Eagles-Giants game in a similar situation, down 21 with 8 to play. Well, looks like they are going to go with it even against the hands team here.
Green Bay's at least ready for it. And here it is. Beautifully done. Did it travel 10 yards? They're going to throw a flag, and it may not have. It was close. Finneran got up and got it, but it's got to go to the 40. And let's see where Finneran touches it. He looks to be short of the 40, which is why they threw the flag, and it will not be a successful onside kick.
And what a great kick that was. And if Finneran had just gotten beyond the 40, it looked like he was going to still be able to recover that uncontested. You see, Brian Finneran is the trail man here.
10 yards. Illegal touch. Number 86 of the kicking team. It'll be 1st and 10. Green Bay at the spot of the foul.
Well, that was executed just perfectly, and a great bounce up high. And like I said, Jordy Nelson was the only guy there, but he had a blocker on him. And if Finneran had just shown a little more patience and gotten across the 40-yard line before he went up, I think he makes that one pretty easy.
I agree with you. Instead, it's an illegal touch. And Green Bay now will start inside the Atlanta 40. That could have made it a lot more interesting here in what is now a 21-point game. See Josh Sitton getting ready. Aaron Rodgers regards Sitton, number 71, as the best lineman he has in front of him.
They're awfully good. Scott Wells at center is as well. And for the most part, we've not seen any real inside pressure on Aaron Rodgers, which has allowed him to escape. And that's really what has happened throughout this season. They're pretty solid there in the middle.
Now we're ready to go. Ball inside the 40. Only been sacked once. Here's Starks. Should see a lot of this. Babineau was in on the stop. Jamal Anderson as well. Here are some of the highlights, and there are many. Aaron Rodgers, his confidence at an all-time high. Jordy Nelson got one. James Jones got one. And then Aaron Rodgers took it in himself from 7 yards away. Most recent one, John Kuhn. And these guys are rolling. That age-old question, Troy, coming in. You got a team that had a bye, taking on a team that's been in playoff mode for 3 weeks now, their 4th week. And the team that came in hot stayed hot. Receiver fell down, Jennings. 3rd and 10.
Yeah, I'd say a couple things on that is I thought coming into this game, because the Packers have been in playoff mode, you know, now this being their 4th week in a row, that they're accustomed to the pressure of that and have excelled in it. Having the week off for the Falcons, you know, they would come in a little more tentative early, but they got beyond that when they had the kickoff return. I think it's just simply this. I think the Packers are just a lot better football team than what the Atlanta Falcons are.
3rd down and 10. This is Jackson out of the backfield. And he's knocked out short of a 1st down. It was Grimes who made the stop. Now it's 4th down. And we'll see what Mike McCarthy wants to do. He's going to bring on Mason Crosby, who made 22, missed 6 during the regular season and has not attempted one so far this postseason. This will be a 50-yard try. This to make it a 24-point game. Crosby hits it. Crosby hits it. And it's no good. Hits the left upright, and it's still a 21-point game. Falcons take over, looking for magic here at home. Matt Ryan is looking to channel his inner Frank Reich and come up with an amazing comeback here at home. Instead, he starts this drive on the ground. B.J. Raji was in there right up the middle, and Raji needs help to get off the field. He is such a presence, and he can't get up. We've seen him at fullback. A loss of 8. Walden was in there as well. Raji came into this postseason on fire. He had 4 sacks over his last 5 games, and he got in there and took down Matt Ryan. 4th Green Bay sack of this game. They look at Raji. We'll take a break. 2nd down and 18 when we come back.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Visa. More people.
Matt Ryan on 2nd down and 19 hits Snelling. And a penalty flag is thrown on the field. Snelling picked up 10. We'll get the call from the referee, John Perry. Raji looks fine, by the way.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense, number 55. 5-yard penalty and an automatic 1st down.
So an automatic 1st down, and they get Desmond Bishop. I mentioned Frank Reich, and just to take you back to January 3rd of '93, and the Bills at home trailed the Houston Oilers by 32 points, 35-3, and won in overtime, 41-38.
Well, in that year they went on and played in the Super Bowl. That was the year that we played them in '92.
Here is Roddy White. That was your first Super Bowl, '92 season. That playoff game as the calendar turned to 1993. This is Roddy White. 2nd down and 5, the clock running. Over 12 to play. Packers are coming. Jenkins makes the catch, and they're going to mark him a yard short of a 1st down. Shields on the stop. Third down and 1. And obviously they've got 2 downs to get a yard. And that won't do it. The ball came out. This could be another Atlanta turnover.
I'm not sure Matt Ryan ever even got the ball from center.
And it's Green Bay's football. Clay Matthews ends up on top of it, and let's go back and see if Ryan ever had it. He may have been trying to sneak it on 3rd and 1. He was, and he just lost it.
Yeah, he had it, and then the center, Todd McClure, didn't get any movement. And so as Matt Ryan's trying to go forward, McClure looked like he thought it was a pass protection. And Matt couldn't move him.
It's the 3rd turnover by Atlanta, a team that fumbled only 12 times all year, 2nd fewest in the NFL. That's their first fumble. Ryan's thrown 2 picks. They gave it away only 17 times all season. Here's Green Bay still throwing it. Jordy Nelson to the 30. And the Atlanta Falcons have given it away 3 times tonight, compared to Green Bay's 1 turnover, and that came on their first possession of the night.
You know, we saw Clay Matthews catch that or get the recovery, and you know what a job linebacker coach Kevin Green has done for that defensive unit. When you consider all of the linebackers that they lost this year, Nick Barnett, Brad Jones, Brandon Chiller, Papinga, Zombo, you know, a lot of guys, and the linebackers are the heart and soul of that defensive team. And he has had to put a lot of hours in each week getting guys prepared. He's done a heck of a job.
Here's Starks on 1st down, goes nowhere. I mean, when you watch Kevin Green before the game, he has that same intensity that he had as a player. Great Pittsburgh Steeler, Carolina Panther, played for Dom Capers. Dom Capers said, I always knew he was going to be a coach. He basically ran the locker room. He was the most prepared linebacker he coached. He knew pass or run based on an offensive lineman's stance, and he ended up with more sacks than any linebacker in the history of the league with 160.
Hey, a few of those were against me. I mean, the guy was an absolute beast and a great player, played relentless. He played like Clay Matthews, and he's coaching the same way, brought the same passion to coaching.
Here's Jennings, started upfield, then stopped, makes the catch. Owens drags him down, but a gain of 6. And I think what can't get lost in this avalanche of points put up by Green Bay is the job by the Packers defense on the road. not letting the Atlanta offense dictate the tempo of this game. Dom Capers has done it again. More points up than they have the last 3 games, but it's been a good enough effort here tonight.
Well, I know this. You're not going to win a Super Bowl unless you've got a pretty good defense. We've seen a lot of offense here in the last decade, and these quarterbacks, and they're doing great jobs. But when you're playing as good as Aaron Rodgers, that performance tends to overshadow a lot of good things that are happening on the defensive side of the ball.
On 3rd down, Nelson gets away from Lofton and picks up a 1st down. Here's a middle linebacker in Curtis Lofton that can't bring down Jordy Nelson, and it's a 3rd down conversion after the catch.
And how about if you're sitting at home right now and you're Lovie Smith, and now you know, or even Pete Carroll for that matter, but you know, Lovie Smith, knowing the last game of the season, he played his starters. For those that remember watching that game, played his starters the last game of the season, had nothing to gain by it. I think he knew, beyond just wanting to beat the Packers, I think he knew this was a dangerous team, and if he could take them out, he was certainly going to give it his best shot. Packers won in a dogfight, low-scoring game.
There's Starks. I'll give you a look at the offensive leaders. You can hear now how loud the Packer fans are, and it's predominantly Packer fans left. The score being what it is. There's a day for Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he's knocking on the door of a, you know, he's not close, but he's looking at 360-yard passing day, and now they're in shutdown mode where they're just trying to eat some of the clock.
When they played the Giants a few weeks ago in a must-win game, Aaron Rodgers was exceptional, one of the best quarterback performances I've really seen, and he said it was the best game of his season, and I think he's got a new favorite after this one.
Packers are 4 for 4 in the red zone. Scoring touchdowns in this game starts. And he is, without a doubt, the top running back for this Green Bay team as they are basically headed to the NFC Championship game. Starks picked up 3.
You know, I want to go back to what I said earlier in this game, Joe, as it relates to Mike McCarthy and the job that he has done and that entire staff. But you know, at one time I thought, wow, Mike McCarthy should be considered for Coach of the Year, considering the job that he has done overcoming all these injuries. I don't think there's anyone else who should win this award now. I mean, the fact that he has gotten this team into the NFC Championship game with 91 games lost by starters this year is the darndest thing I've ever seen.
Officials missed a call. There was a false start, no flag. Falcons are happy about it as Bierman and Babineau meet at Aaron Rodgers. It's 4th down. There was movement on the line of scrimmage, but no flag was thrown. I think it was Jennings in the slot.
Well, and I think right now you see Aaron Rodgers get a little bit roughed up. That's you know, we saw B.J. Raji kind of hobble off. I think he's okay, but you can't lose this guy. And you know, I think after this, I think we've probably seen about the last of Aaron Rodgers tonight.
It's a 43-yard try by Crosby to make it a 24-point game. He missed from 50 moments ago. He hit the upright. And now this one is good, barely inside the left upright. 24-point game. Green Bay Packers trying to stamp their ticket for the NFC Championship game next Sunday.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Visa. More people go with Visa.
A 24-point game now, and the 45 points ties a postseason Packer record. There's the drive. It eats up 5 minutes, under 6.5 to go. Crosby will kick it away, and that defense, Kevin Green right in the middle of that group, can't wait to get back out there. They know what they're going to face, and that's a lot of throwing from Matt Ryan, and that's when these linebackers do their work. Eric Weems on the return from inside the 5. He's got a thrilling moment in this game. That was not very thrilling. Super Bowl Sunday. Don't miss the Bridgestone Super Bowl 45 halftime show starring the Black Eyed Peas. Sunday, February 6th. Only on Fox.
How about this, Joe? Assuming that this score holds up, 3 of the last 4 years in the NFC, #1 seed goes down in the divisional round. The Cowboys in 07, the Giants in 08, And now the Falcons in 2010.
Really hasn't happened much in history, as the pass is nearly picked for the third time in this game by Tramon Williams as he made the play on the ball. Roddy White, the intended receiver. Only 4 times in 30 years before this season has the #1 seed lost in this round. 1980, we talked about Atlanta losing to Dallas. 87, the 49ers lost to the Vikings. And then the 2 you mentioned, the Giants in 07, they won it all. And then the Giants lost to Philadelphia in 08. Penalty flag flies. This one for Jenkins, broken up by the rookie Shields. But a flag is down back at the line of scrimmage, and Shields is slow to get up.
Yeah, and it looked, when he went down, Joe Shields, it looked like he landed on that left shoulder, and it was a pretty good impact
Offside,
to the
defense,
ground.
number 98, 5-yard penalty, second down.
And remember, Shields is one of the big reasons why this defense has been able to do some of the things that they've been able to do. You see him come down right there on the left shoulder. He's in a great deal of pain, but
they got C.J. Wilson, Troy, for going offside beginning of that play. You wonder if A, it's the left shoulder, or B, he just got the wind knocked out of him. Packers have to hope it's the latter.
Yeah, well, he's staying out, so that's a good sign.
Second down and 5. Matt Ryan for Finneran off his hands. And now third down and 5.
You know, I think it's easy to lose sight of what the Falcons have accomplished this year, 13-3. And really the job that Mike Smith has done, you know, since taking over as head coach. And I've been thoroughly impressed. And a lot of people were wondering who Mike Smith was when he got named the head coach 3 years ago. Well, they don't wonder anymore. And I think he's done a heck of a job in assembling this team and getting them prepared to play. And I think they're going to be spending a lot more trips as long as he's here and Matt Ryan's the quarterback in postseason.
It's third down and 5. Ryan completes it. That's Jenkins. Ryan ends up getting hit hard and on the turf. Jenkins is knocked out short of a first down by Woodson. It's fourth down. On fourth down, pass is caught by Jenkins, and the drive alive, although the ball pops out. That's a catch and a fumble. And this could be the 4th turnover and 2nd fumble of this game by Atlanta. It's Green Bay's football again. Giveaways all year, 3rd fewest in the NFL, and they've handed it to Green Bay 4 times tonight.
Yeah, and right now, I mean, looking at it from Atlanta's perspective, I wonder, you know, where they go from here after this game is over. I mean, you go through an entire season to become the #1 seed, and then you lose a playoff game like this after experiencing that 2 years ago at Arizona. I mean, that is a long off season, and trying to rally and come back to do it all over again. I mean, this is a tough ball game for the Falcons, and this is one that they're not going to forget.
Matt Flynn takes over at quarterback. He had his moment this season at New England. Starks ducks under a tackle, a gain of 4. Aaron Rodgers, 31 of 36. 366 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Look at his passer rating. And it's one thing, Troy, as you know better than anybody in this booth, to do it during the regular season. But until you do it at this time of the year, well, people always have question marks around your name. And Aaron Rodgers has had 3 very good playoff starts. He's 3 for 3.
Yeah, and he knows it. He knows it. It's always something. You know, the next thing they'll say is he's not won an NFC championship game. And so until you do it, you've never done it. And so you're constantly being questioned for it.
There's Starks. He's got some burst. Aaron Rodgers also has a touchdown run in this game.
But hey, as long as they continue to put players around Aaron Rodgers like they have, and they coach them up the way that Mike McCarthy and his staff has, Aaron Rodgers is going he's going to win a lot of playoff games, and he's going to win a lot of Super Bowls too.
This was a team that went 10-6 during the regular season. They won at Philly last week. They're going to win in Atlanta this week. And they will be in either Seattle or Chicago for the NFC Championship game next Sunday. James Starks. Wow, what a hit by William Moore, and Starks pops right up. Fox Monday at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. All new house returns the most dramatic cases yet. And more than a few big surprises. Candace Bergen stars in an all new episode of House. Viewer discretion advised. Monday 8 Eastern, 7 Central on Fox. How about that hit by William Moore?
Well, I said earlier in the game that James Starks doesn't go backwards. He does when he gets hit like that.
Wow.
William Moore.
2nd and 8. Starks again. Nothing. Nicholas on the tackle. Well, the early game tomorrow will be fun to watch. Seattle at Chicago. That's at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. And by the way, we thank Kevin Spacey for reading The Journey tonight. Tomorrow, it's the great Kurt Russell getting us on the air before Fox NFL Sunday in a matchup of Matt Hasselbeck and Jay Cutler. It's 3rd down and 8. And Starks gets nothing. Just a couple more numbers about Seattle at Chicago. Seattle was a Super Bowl team at 05 season when they lost to Pittsburgh with Matt Hasselbeck at quarterback. They had that Marshawn Lynch 67-yard run last week in the win over New Orleans. But Troy, that's a different Chicago team than Seattle beat 23-20 in week 6. They've settled down on the offensive line, and they've run the ball a lot better to complement what Cutler, Mike Martz, and the receivers can do. 2-minute warning. We'll come back and set up more of Chicago and Seattle on the other side. 45-21. Starks 25 carries, 66 yards. Aaron Rodgers threw for 366. And a 32-yard try by Mason Crosby's good. He's 2 for 3 on the day. And so now we welcome you back inside our booth, and I think it's worth hearing from you about the game coming up tomorrow early on Fox, and that's Seattle at Chicago. You and I have talked about it all weekend long. That's no given there with the way Seattle played last week.
Well, I mean, just the way that they played and being able to beat New Orleans, nobody gave them a chance in that one. Yeah, I wouldn't discount them. Matt Hasselbeck, when he's on, he's as good as anybody, and that's going to really be the key. And you think back to the last time these two teams met, both teams are really entirely different teams than they were back then. They didn't protect Jay Cutler in that game. The offensive line was having some problems. They have gotten a lot better with Mike Martz and what he's doing, running the football more and playing really to the strengths of that team. It's going to be a tough place for Seattle to have to go to and win. But I think it's going to be a really good game.
The guy that we talked about last time we had Chicago a little bit, but deserves a lot of credit, is Mike Tice.
Absolutely.
Who's done a great job with that offensive line. And he's as big a reason why the Bears have settled down, run the ball better, and protected Jay Cutler as Mike Martz or anything going on the field itself.
All good teams get their heartbeat from their offensive line, and that's the case with them right now.
Line drive kick. Weems on a couple of hops out to the 25 and fights his way to the 27. I want to thank Steve Horn for all the work he does for me in both baseball and certainly in football, our editorial consultant. The producer of today's game is Richie Zients, and the director, Rich Russo. Associate directors are Greg Scopatoni, Derek Manning, Jacob Jolivet. Broadcast associates are Rich Gross, Bentley Elliott. Studio show produced by Scott Ackerson, directed by Bob Levy, which they figured out during our pregame tonight. The associate director is Stephanie Medina, and the highlights coordinator Janice Kazaza. The studio technical supervisor is Jack Simmons.
And a great job again tonight by Mike Stevepak.
You just have to get it in. If you're going to thank Stevepak for the job he does, Green Bay's own, for running the Fox box, I'm going to thank Dave Schwalbe, our spotter in the booth, and Ed Sfida, the best booth statistician that has ever been created.
And Scott Snyder to my right. Thank you, sir.
There's Arthur Blank, who has his team poised for years to come, but this is going to leave a mark. This is a thumping here at home. 27-point game, new Packers record, and now another sack. This time it's C.J. Wilson. No Green Bay team in the history of the postseason has ever scored 48 points until tonight. And we talked about it early, Troy, as you watched the Wilson sack. Think about how this game started. The early turnover by Green Bay. Matt Ryan and company took advantage of it. Packers started a drive at their 19. Scored a touchdown to tie it. Weems returns one for 102 yards. 14-7 home team, and then a drive that started at the 8. It was helped by 2 defensive fouls down near the Falcons end zone. Ended in 7 points, and from that moment on it was all Green Bay.
Well, and the other part of this is the confidence level for the Packers now going into next week's game, regardless of where they have to go, is as high as they could have hoped for. And in addition to that, think about that Baltimore-Pittsburgh game earlier today. I mean, how physical that game was. Not that this one was not physical, but they've been able to rest some players as well. Coming off a short week after last Sunday's game at Philadelphia, turn it around, be able to rest some players late, have great confidence, feel good about yourself. No major injuries that I'm aware of. I don't know if the Packers could ask for anything more right now.
And a 27-point win if it ends as this, which is 48-21. Kanan will punt. By the way, the Packers did not punt this entire game. Packers defense had 4 takeaways, 5 sacks, scored a touchdown right before half. On the return by Tramon Williams, 70 yards. Tim Mastay, who's been very good, by the way, the last couple of weeks, kicking it away from dangerous punt returners, was not needed tonight. Packers were 8 of 12 on 3rd down. 4 of 6 in the red zone, scoring touchdowns. Rodgers threw for 3 scores and ran for another. Kanan hits a beauty. Fair catch. Tramon Williams. And Tramon Williams, I think Troy is going to make this postseason his opportunity to show the voters and people around the league that he was indeed snubbed as a Pro Bowler. Tied for number 2 in the NFC with 6 picks. He's got 3 in 2 games this postseason.
Yeah, his time's coming. You know, for those that didn't know who Tramon Williams was after the last 2 games, they certainly do now. And he was arguably their best corner throughout the season. I mean, as good as Charles Woodson has been, and he's been good in the backfield. He's been good coming off the edge and blitzing and tackling. I think as far as pure coverage skills, I think Tramon Williams was their best corner.
Flynn will kneel down, and the Falcons will get out of here. And so will the Green Bay Packers. They are in the NFC Championship game with a 27-point road victory behind Aaron Rodgers. Dealt with the crowd noise, dealt with the Falcons defense. Matt Ryan keeps his helmet on as he heads off the field. He had a rough first half, and the Falcons could not recover. Mike McCarthy, in his 5th year, is headed to his 2nd NFC Championship game. He took the Packers there in 2007 when they lost in overtime behind Brett Favre to the New York Giants, who won it all that season. Tramon Williams, such a big part of this. And this was a total team effort. Standing by with Aaron Rodgers, Pam Oliver. Pam.
Well, Aaron, Joe Buck called it a clinic. Describe what's that like when everything goes your way as a passer and an offense?
Yeah, it was one of those nights. I mean, guys made some big plays. I felt like I was in the zone. I was able to escape a couple times, keep drives going. We didn't punt all night. I mean, it's a fun night.
next week, an NFC Championship game.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you dream about. You know, we're going to go on the road again, either Chicago or Seattle. We'll be watching tomorrow. This just feels so good right now. To be able to put up that kind of performance as an offense, it's incredible.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Joe, back to you.
Yeah, the last time the Packers were in the NFC Championship game, Rodgers was standing on the sideline in a frozen Lambeau Field watching Brett Favre at the controls. This is Aaron Rodgers' team now. He was in the zone, as he said, and in charge. Matthews has been in the zone all year long. AT&T postgame show is coming up. What a night for the Green Bay Packers. They are into the NFC Championship game. So long.